Okay, let's look at story problems interpreting. Okay, so if you're asked to interpret, this is what you're going to do. So in this story problem, you have $6 to spend on apples and bananas total. Okay, so you have $6 to go to the store, get apples and bananas. X represents pounds of apples, whereas Y represents pounds of bananas. Okay. Now the book tells you to graph this, but for now we're going to ignore the graphing part, and we're just going to focus on the fact that the equation for this looks like this. In fact, I'll go ahead and show you off to the side here what the graph should kind of look like if you were to actually do the graphing part. It should look roughly something like this. We have some higher Y value and a lower X value, okay? And we're going to learn what each of those should be. Okay. So the book also tells you to interpret the intercepts. So the intercepts are the x-intercept, this one here, and the y-intercept. What do those 2 points mean, right? So don't just tell me what they are, but what do they mean in terms of the story problem? So we have to interpret the story problem to be able to interpret this. Okay, let's take one step at a time. Let's go with x-intercept. So first off, I need to actually solve for the x-intercept. So I'm going to plug in 0 for y and get my x-intercept. So I get 1.5x divided by 1.5 divided by 1.5, and I get 4. So x equals 4, so my x-intercept is 4, 0. And now I put an A and a B to represent what each of these actually represent. Remember that A represents apples, and B represents bananas, right? In fact, this is actually, both of these are pounds, right? So we're keeping that in mind as we're doing this as well. So basically here I've got 4 pounds of apples and 0 pounds of bananas. That's a point on the graph, okay? Let's go ahead and do the y-intercept. So now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to plug in 0 for x. So that gives us 0.6y. Divide by 0.6, divide by 0.6. And we get y equals 10. So here I'm labeling this as well, apples, bananas. So now this time I have 0 pounds of apples, but 10 pounds of bananas. So if I'm going to interpret this, what would I say? Well, let's take the information that we just got. So basically, if I'm interpreting the x-intercept, right, which we have here, I would say that if I buy 4 apples, which actually I made a mistake. This should be 4 pounds of. If I buy 4 pounds of apples, I can't buy any bananas. And that's true. Because when I have 4 pounds of apples, I have 0 pounds of bananas. Okay? Same thing's true about bananas. And remember, I made that mistake. So if I buy 10 pounds of bananas, I can't buy any apples. And that's what I found right here. Okay? And so that's how you interpret the intercepts. You just take the story problem, and as you're finding out this information, you're labeling stuff as you go. Okay? And that helps you find out how to interpret the information you've been given. Okay? All right, that's it.